Hey, what's up? My name's Aadila Dosani, and you are sitting here with me and Elias at the Man Cave Chronicles. I'm playing the infamous Amanda Bobbsey, well, one half of the infamous Bobbsey Twins on CW's and Nancy Drew. Make sure you check it out.
All right, Aadila, welcome to the cave.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to chat.
There we go. We're talking off the air before the weather change and everything. It's messing us all up, but we'll get through this, right?
We totally will. I feel like as long as we're in it together, which we are, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
We're gonna. I hope. We're gonna be fine.
You hope. There you go.
I know. That's the key
So,
word.
yeah, this is an exciting time for you. You know, you're on CW's Nancy Drew. You know, that's where the listeners and the viewers have seen you recently. You've done multiple projects in the past. You've been busy.
I've been busy. I've been really lucky to be busy. Yeah.
So before we jump into the whole Nancy Drew, I want to know, like, I always ask the story to everybody. How did you get here today? What was your path? Like, what pushed you to the acting world?
Oh man, honestly, so when I was younger, my parents used to put me in, like, as I'm sure like a lot of parents do on the weekends, you know, all those extracurricular sports, like you, and so they would plot me in so they could have their weekends, but they soon realized that I am not very athletically inclined in the water or on ice, which I feel like, you know, like learning how to skate is a huge thing here in Canada. I can't do it. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. It was so bad. And so I feel like they got super embarrassed. And so they plunked me out and they put me into community theater.
Oh, wow.
Thank goodness. Yeah. And that's kind of where I got the bug, and for, like, you know, all things theatric. And that's kind of what led me here.
Wow. What age were you? How old were you?
I was like 6, 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've been a drama queen for a bit.
Now, you mentioned sports. I did read online when I was doing some research. You messed around a little bit with rugby.
I did. Listen, I can do all the dry land sports, but like, please do not put me in water. I will drown. I can't even doggy paddle. I don't even know.
I'm not a good swimmer either. Don't worry.
No. Okay, sweet.
So yeah, tell us a little about the rugby thing. I was curious about that. When I saw that, I was like, I got to ask you a few questions about that. Tell us about that.
Totally. Yeah. So, I played in high school for a bit, and I gotta say again, like, I wasn't very good in high school. So all my girlfriends would chirp me. And I feel like that's kind of where I was like, I got to get redemption. I got to be like, yo, I could play in college. And so when I got to U of T, the University of Toronto campuses, it's super Harry Potter like. So we have like colleges that kind of split it up. And so I was at St. Michael's College, and they didn't have a women's rugby team, only a men's rugby team. And there are no rules saying I couldn't play. So I started playing. I probably should have quit, but I didn't, because clearly I like self-torture. But I hate when people tell me I can't do something. So I stayed on, and that's kind of how that rugby venture went. It was tough, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So throughout your years when you were like in school and you were doing your acting lessons at the same time, like, what else influenced you to like keep pushing yourself, motivate yourself? Like, okay, you know, this is what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like I always say, I felt like it was the only thing I felt like I was really good at. And I hate to be, you know, listen, we're just going to be real. Like, we're humans.
Yeah.
We all have a little bit of narcissism in us. And so when you find something that you're kind of good at and you get some sort of like acknowledgement or accolades about it, I feel like, I'm just going to be dead honest, that's kind of initially what drove me. And then you soon learn you can't really do this if you're faint at heart, and you got to really put on that Teflon suit. Otherwise you're hooped. And you're real down in the dumps all the time. But I feel like that drove me. And then I really started to just like love being on stage and telling stories. And I don't know, I feel like I feel the most myself when I'm doing that. Like, I know what I want. I know what I'm doing, versus in real life, I'm such a chaotic mess. Like, I don't sometimes know who I am. You know, and it's so, it's like, it's not tangible. It's not something that you can explain. It's like that weird feeling. And I know it sounds so cliche, but like, you know, like you get that weird adrenaline rush and the butterflies, and then you're like, yo, this is sick. So
did you have a backup plan just in case if things weren't going to work out?
No,
No?
I am like, no, not really. I mean, my parents did kind of push me. They've been so supportive throughout all this, but like, listen, I am like South Asian. We all know. I'm gonna say it. Like, our parents are like, they normally want you to be like an engineer or a doctor or, you know, something along those lines. But yeah, my dad always was like, well, if you don't want to do those things, then like he would push me into like advertising, or he was like, use your artistic self to like, you know, see, do something when things are slow. So I kind of like went that route a little bit in university. Didn't really work out clearly. You know, I don't know how to stay within the box, so that fine. But no.
So after graduating or after finishing school and everything, what was your next step? What did you do? You start auditioning right away? Did you continue with acting classes?
Yeah, honestly, I was on, so I was lucky. I was able to like work in theater when so I stayed in Toronto for a bit, worked in theater quite a bit, and I never thought that I'd go into like film or TV. I was like, I was that snob. I like obviously will eat my words right now, but I was like, no, if you're a real actor, you got to be on stage. It's not true, but that's kind of where I was
Yeah.
at. And it wasn't until I had to move back home to Calgary, where the theater scene was quite small at that time there, that I got into like film stuff. A buddy of mine was like, just get an agent, try to do some
Mm.
commercials. And that's kind of where I was like, yo, this is insane. It's not an 8-week run. You work a couple days, you know, like
Yeah, then you
it
can have like then you have a break and then you got to go at it again.
exactly. But no, I didn't really. I tried. Listen, like I was lucky enough to get jobs in Toronto, and like I would try to get auditions for bigger stuff, but like there was a time where I couldn't even get like a general audition for the life
Mm.
of me. I don't know, like years of drought.
Wow. How did you decide? Like I know like some people I've talked to people that actors from
Yeah.
Canada where they're like they just did the jump right to LA. How come you decided to stick around and not do the jump towards California?
I mean, I was in a relationship.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you know, like
Yeah,
truth be told, that
you should have packed him in the bag.
I should have packed him in the bag. I should have packed in the bag. I did. I came to Vancouver, and well, that also hit the fan. Listen, I'm telling you, my life is just chaotic.
Yeah.
Jazz
Well,
just don't work out.
Vancouver is the Hollywood of Canada, like they say. A
It
lot of things
totally
get filmed
is.
up there, so you must like that.
I
A lot of
love it.
things get filmed there.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's insane how busy it is up here. So in that sense too, like I've had opportunities to go down to LA. I actually did live there for 4 months during a pilot season. I don't know, like I love it. I loved it, but not enough to live there. I just
Mm.
didn't feel like it was my place. I don't know.
It makes
At that
sense.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really vibing it. But now being up in Vancouver, I'm like, this is dope. Like it's home. It's so busy. I don't know. I kind of like being close to family. I'm such an as much as an extrovert I am, I just love being in my own home bubble, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense because like I said,
Yeah.
others that I've talked to, they've had the show. They're like, I just like, you know what? I'd rather just travel to LA, or if it
Yeah.
gets filmed there, 2-3 months, and I'm back at home until the
Yeah.
next project starts. Next thing
Exactly.
you know, I'm in New York, I'm in Atlanta, or I'm in Vancouver, like we said.
Yeah. And I mean that's the beauty of it too, right? I feel like that's like like one of the perks of it is like you get to explore all these different places if you're not based out of there. So I don't know.
So you mentioned commercials. Did you end up doing any commercials at a young
Oh,
age?
yeah,
What
yeah.
was it?
I've done a few. So I got my first commercial. Man, this is so bad, but I was like, I lied. Like, listen, I don't know. I'm so glad they didn't actually tell me to do what I lied about, but it was for Shaw Communications, which is like a telecom company up here in Canada. And they were looking for like artists. And so I was like, well, I'm an artist, but not actors. And my dad's a carpenter by trade. So I went in and I was like, I'm a carpenter. And they looked at me and they're like, no, you're not. But like I had this jewelry box my dad made, and I was like, yeah, I made this. I used the router to do this, and I sanded this. Like I don't know what came out of my behind. Luckily booked that job. Thank God
Oh,
on the day they didn't ask me to use any machinery, because like I would have been
I'm out
caught
of here.
red-handed. So legit, I would have had to run. Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
I know.
Do you enjoy doing the commercials? Would you do more?
Yeah, I've been so lucky to do so many commercials. I love commercials. And I know it's like such a 50-50, but like it's like you get paid to improv,
Yeah.
you know, and like if they're so quick. I freaking love them. I love commercial work. Like, and then you just get to think on your feet. You get to be like kooky and that's the I feel like that semiotics advertising brain in me. Like I really like find metrics, like the metrics of marketing and sales
Yeah.
sexy. It's weird. I
I
don't
can see
know.
that. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny
you
because
know.
the commercials, it's fun because like, like you can get into a phase or like a routine where, you have a TV project and then what if you have like a 5-month break? You could do a commercial or two and keep going.
Exactly. And it like they're great, right? Like they feed you and it's still work. And sometimes I feel like, I mean, I say this quite often. I'm like, it's harder to do commercials because you can't hide behind dialogue. So like you
Mm.
have to like, it really taught me to think on my feet. And I think doing commercials 800% has made me a better film or TV actor, you know,
It's like
because like
practice.
totally, totally. And you got to be so in it because again, it's like it's all improv, which is so hard to do,
Yeah.
I think. Like on the like I would never be able to do like stand up or like SNL type. You know what I mean? Like the sketch stuff where you have to like totally be so
Make
sharp.
things up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
other than commercials, like what was one of your first gigs that you got when you started auditioning?
oh man. One of the first gigs. It was oh my gosh, it was this like Canadian Bollywood film, which was really, really cool. Because I got to work with my people, but it was wild. It was super cool. I played like the younger sister of this um gangster, and I guess it was based on a true story. But this is where I learned that like if you have a stunt you need to do and you don't have a double or things got to be thrown on you, be prepared to get it in one take. This was
Oh
like my
wow.
intro to like film and TV. And there was this scene where this dude throws a drink on me. And it was so again, my first gig, I was like, oh no, like what am I gonna do? We ended up having to do like 7 or 8 takes.
So you had
I
8 times
feel
throw water thrown at
yeah,
you?
because I
Or-
just wasn't able to like get the cues or get on my mark. I was so ill-equipped and ill-prepared. I feel like I messed that whole day because, like, you know, time is money. Let's be real.
yeah.
Yo, it was bad. It was
Please tell
bad.
me, do you have the tape of that still?
I feel like I have it somewhere. I gotta find that. It was brutal. And like getting like like an iced drink at a bar
Yeah.
thrown on your face for 8 times. I was like, they had to redo my makeup, my hair, like they had to blow dry my clothes. I never got hired by them again. So maybe that there you go.
Hey, but you learned and you go on,
I
right?
learned. Exactly. Oh
So
well.
in the acting world, is there somebody that you look up to that you try to model yourself under, like kind of like you watch their movies or their TV shows just to get an idea like how you want to play certain characters in the future?
You know, I feel like I go through phases
Yeah.
with that. Like it changes. But the one thing like moment I feel like that's kind of like influenced the way that I want to be around people on set or like carry myself as a storyteller professionally was this the time I met Christopher Plummer actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. So we um Stratford, Ontario has like this incredible theater community. And I believe it was the Tempest. I went to go see him because when you're in theater school, like they kind of take you on, you know, like trips there. It's super
Yeah.
close. And we got to do a meet and greet. And like it was insane. Like, you know, when you say you sometimes meet someone who has like an aura of like a demigod, like there's something so magical about that person's energy and how they treat people. I feel like that for me was like Christopher Plummer. And it was wild because we got to go backstage in between the acts and stuff like that. It was super immersive. And just the way he treated his cast and carried himself, the way he like treated all the technicians. Like how he treated us, like he gave everyone, like he was always listening, never distracted. He was so genuine. I was like, I want to be like him. He was just so gracious and kind and poised. And I feel like that moment's always stuck with me. So it's one of those things, like it's not like he's impacted what I kind of want to do artistically in that sense, but I feel like I'm like if he can carry himself in such a gracious way, why can't everyone else? And so every time I'm on set or things get stressful, I always think of him. And maybe it's not really answering your question, but like
no, it's true, because it's like you want to enjoy going to work. You don't want to be miserable because if somebody's miserable on set or even like at a workplace, you don't want to go to work then because you don't want to be around that person.
Totally, right? And then you just like shrivel up and you're like, well, fudge, like,
I just want to do what I got to do and go home because you don't want to be around them.
And you're around these people like 16 hours a day, so it can get super miserable. And I've been on sets where it's like that, where you're like, oh boy, I won't throw any tea down, no shade, but like we've all experienced it, and it's so cold. And then you feel like you can't support your fellow actors in doing the best work possible. So it was just how he supported his fellow people. I feel like that, kind of influenced how I go into things. So
it's great because then like someday, you can be that person on a set where somebody's having a hard time or even a bad day, and you just talk to them. Yeah.
And it makes the world of difference. I don't know, just being kind.
Yeah.
But like, but then there's the like, listen, like we all love the classic like A-lister Meryl Streeps, you know what I mean? Like just Robin Williams, actually, I would have like that would have been a dream. I love all of his work and just everything artistically about him. So he's definitely been someone who's kind of shaped what I would love to do, like character work wise.
He could do everything. He could have done everything.
Could have done he could have done everything. He did everything. Like he was such a great, both those men. Yeah.
So let's talk about Nancy Drew. How did you get to that universe? Like, how exciting has this been?
Oh my God, it has been incredible. It has been wild. I grew up reading the books, as we all probably did, right? Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, Bobbsey Twins. I had a few. My mom's actually like a sleuth, legit sleuth. So I feel like she was more excited than I was, just because that's her passion in literature. But it's been great. Like, listen, to be able to like take two characters in literature from their source material who were traditionally like affluent Caucasian kids, and then be able to put this spin on it has been so great, because I feel like as a kid, I grew up, reading those and never thought I could see myself playing that character on TV. Like, I love their twinning energy. I love how they were such little sleuths. And so, not to mention it being like such a dope win for representation, but it's been really awesome being able to portray something in fiction that I grew up with.
Was this a self-tape or was it a live audition? And did you know who you were auditioning for, or was it like a secret?
No, it was such a secret. Yeah, no, it was a self-tape. It was like last summer, July 2020, like right when things were starting to start back up, post like the heat of the pandemic in Canada. And yeah, no, I had no idea. Like, we had the breakdowns and we knew the names were there, like Amanda and Gil. So you could kind of see, we knew there were siblings, but no, absolutely no idea. So I threw it on tape, and a few weeks later did a Zoom with Larry and Amanda, who are co-executive producers, and they also direct some of the episodes. And we kind of chatted. I did a read with him, resent it in, like did a retape after his notes, and then got approved by the network a few weeks later. But because of COVID and how long it was taking for all the safety protocols to come into place, they did another search. And so,
oh wow,
yeah, so it was pretty wild. And so I was like, shoot, like, gone, I guess. And that was like 8 weeks. Like, so I honestly thought that the role had slipped through my fingers, because when you hear that, you're like, well,
you didn't get it.
I didn't get it. Yeah, and then it came around, and my agent called me, definitely played like a dope little prank on me. But and then when I met the EPs, Noga and Melinda, that's when I found out they were the Bobbsey Twins. And I was like, I think I went into shell shock. I was like, say what? Because like you wouldn't have thought, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. So how different is Amanda compared to the books and on the show?
So different.
Yeah,
so different. I mean, in the books, it's 2 sets of twins too, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's like the older set, Gilbert and Nan, is kind of who they're taking them after, but so different. I mean, this rendition is just a lot you know, it's a lot darker. I feel like it's a lot more relative right now to our times. And like they deal with all these supernatural elements, which I feel like definitely impact the characters and their
Yeah.
journey and stuff like that. Especially this season's been really dope because they're dealing a lot with like all these mental health issue kind of things and like the psychology behind like what's real, what's not. Is the narrative in your head impacting like your current relationships? And so and that wasn't really in the source material per
Yeah.
se. So they're completely newly developed characters in that sense.
And this gets filmed in Vancouver too, right?
Yeah, it
So
does.
so is it? Yeah. So how would you describe Amanda? Like
Dang,
on your take?
why you gotta put me on the spot? um
What's your favorite thing about her too?
she's curious. I love that about her. She's just like
Yeah.
she's a curious cat. Like she wants to experience the world on her own in her own eyes. Like so Amanda and Gil deal with so many codependency issues, which you learn throughout the
Yeah.
season because of where they came from. And she just she's got a lot of hope that there's like a better world out there and a better world for her to live in. And she just wants to like eat it all up and know it all and experience it all. And I love that about her because it gives so much liberty, right? Like as an actor
Yeah.
for you to explore all those elements.
So you mentioned Gil too. That's played by, how do you pronounce, Praneet? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Pretty, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty.
So like how fun was it playing like scenes with him and like how like the chemistry between you two? Because you're playing the
Oh,
twins also. So yeah,
yeah,
like
and I
tell
feel
us
like that
about that.
twinning, it's like so hard, right? To get like a
Yeah.
sibling energy. So awesome. So Praneet and I actually we knew each other, but like we weren't really friends or anything. We're actually from the same small town. We're
Oh,
from Calgary,
really?
Alberta. Yeah, isn't that
Wow.
wild? So I feel like that innately kind of connected us where like we grew up kind of the same way in Calgary. So we had that initial connection and I feel like it kind of just snowballed from there. It hasn't been hard because I feel like in real life we are very codependent on each other, which I feel like plays to Gil and Amanda, but it's been awesome. I mean, Praneet's so freaking great. He's such a thespian. So being able to work with him and explore, like he really like brings you in. And so you really got to sit in these characters. And I think because we got along so well and we have that connect where we're from the same place, it kind of just like it sparked right away.
Mm.
So it was I'm lucky, like I'm so lucky I didn't have to do a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. What do you think? Spinoff someday with you two?
Yo, you said it here. Yes. Who wouldn't love that? I would love that. Like, I think the Bobbseys have so much to give. Like, they're cool cats who definitely stir jazz up. So yeah, I think
Um,
so.
how many episodes did you film for the season? For you and Gil or Praneet?
Yeah. So we in the season there's 18 and our stuff started like our storyline started episode 7 moving forward. So I think we both did how many did I do? 7? I think we both did about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
7, 8.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have
16.
so far? So you've had a few episodes that aired so far. What's been like your favorite scene so far with your character?
Oh. My favorite scene. You know what was really cool actually to film? Okay, so it was episode 1, um, where Amanda gets hit by the car that basically knocks her out, and that's kind of where things propel. That was, I feel like, my funnest episode to film because my stunt double was so freaking cool. And so she's the one who did all of that stuff. Like, I mean, I would love to do that. I really want to get into
I was
stunts, but
actually my next question. Like, what? You didn't do
yeah,
your own stunts?
I asked them. I was like, I can do it. I played rugby. Like, can I just be the brawn of this operation? They're like, no. I was like, oh, okay. I would love to do my own stunts. I love that jazz. That's like what gives me an adrenaline rush. But watching her work, like it was so dope. Like she was getting hit by a car. And then obviously it's like we have the reactions off it. But that was my funnest one to film because it was pouring outside.
Oh
It
wow.
was cold AF. It was so cold. And it was in the middle of the night because it was a night shoot. And so I feel like everyone's adrenalines were running high, and it was so wild to be able to work with her.
Wow. You mentioned all night. How long, what was the average time that you were on set for filming? 8-12 hours, around there, or more?
Yeah, it kind of depends. Like usually 12, like it's usually a full day.
Was this mostly, I know like some shows get filmed like in the middle of the night. Is that how you guys were? At like 11 o'clock at night to like 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that?
Yeah, that's it. I know.
How do you do with that? How do you do that?
I don't know. I'm such a morning person. So it's tough for me, like a lot of coffee, and I can't nap. So it like I get loopy. I get real cuckoo banana loopy. Coffee, a lot of water. Listen, gummies.
There you go.
You know, Reese's Piece Bites. I should
Sugar
say
rush.
super healthy, but yo, that sugar rush, I feel like it kicks you in. So Reese's Piece Bites, though, those are my favorite.
There you go.
That's my secret.
So what's next for you after this? Have you been working any other projects or just auditioning?
Yeah, just auditioning. I feel nothing's really come through yet, but just totally fine. I feel like coming out of this pandemic, it's just so nice to be able to like practice living in the moment, you know, and being there for family. So nothing yet. Hopefully something comes through, but I feel like it's totally okay. Maybe a commercial or two.
Right.
Which I'm gunning for. I'm like, it's car season commercials. It's so I'll let you know.
Well, what are you doing like in your downtime? What's the one show you've been binging, or a few shows or movies?
Oh man, you're gonna judge so hard, but it's fine. I'm like addicted to the Bravo Housewives.
Like the reality shows?
Yeah, I don't know
can't
why.
get into those. I don't know.
I know.
My wife watches those too. I don't know how she does it.
Like you just sit there and it's like staring at a wall, but it's so juicy. Like I don't know. They get me. So those I've been watching those. I feel like everyone else, like Bridgerton, and I know, but that's
I didn't watch that either. My wife watched that. She loved it.
Did she love it?
Yeah, she loved it.
Yeah, it's like medieval Gossip Girl. It was so good. Oh man, I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but like, I don't know what other good. You know what though? I've been enjoying documentary series quite often, like the Tiger one that came out.
Yeah, that was good.
Britney, like the Britney, Free Britney. All of those have been good. I finally finished. Shoot, it's escaping me. The Michael Jordan one.
Okay, yeah, the one with it was like 10 episodes. I know you. I can't think of it. It was on ESPN. But
yeah,
yes,
exactly. I can't remember either. It's slipping my mind, but like I love documentary series. So like just been binging those with the housewives. You know, I feel like it's a good balance, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. It's fine.
It's whatever you enjoy, you know, like. I mean, there's so many streaming platforms. There's nights where you like, okay, what am I going to watch tonight? What am I going to put on? Do you ever get like that sometimes too?
All the time. But I feel like it's like so in your face, right? It's so saturated where you're just like, yeah.
And the good thing about all these stream platforms is always going to be a job. There's always another show coming out somewhere.
Yeah, which is so great for all of us.
Yeah, more opportunities for you guys.
Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. And so there's always, and that's what I say. I'm like, there's work out there for all of us. You know, you just got to look at it that way. Yeah. Family Feud, though, the Celebrity Family Feud.
Those are fun.
Those are so fun. I love Family. I could watch it for 12 hours straight. Steve Harvey, I love him.
He's funny. You ever watch those clips? Like the people take the clips and they make the little clips. They're hilarious. When he's got his face like looking like.
Just like what?
Yeah. That's right.
It's so true though. I can see it now where you're like.
Yeah. Lastly, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
Oh, I'm at Aadila Dosani on Instagram and Twitter, and that's it. I haven't really learned TikTok yet or any of those other things.
TikTok's for teenagers. We gotta stay away from that.
Yeah, I can't. I was like, what is that? It still takes me like 2 hours to make an Instagram post. Like I'm that person. I don't know.
Yeah. You gotta hire somebody. An influencer.
Yeah, right. I need to, because I'm not a good one.
This was fun. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was so rad. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah.